definitely want to be prepared. It is hot. You walk out and it feels like you're already walking into an oven. My goodness.
You know, the big difference was when I was at 11 o'clock. So the morning I thought felt great, but at 11 o'clock I'm like, oh, it's a complete.
It was such a huge difference.
And if you're somebody
Agreed.
that's like used to working out in the afternoons, you didn't take that into account. It really wears down your body.
Just don't work out, right?
Yeah, it can be dangerous. That you have to adjust your lifestyle. We all are used to that in summertime, but we're really early to have this kind of heat. By the way, Ricky was talking about batteries. Car batteries don't last as long
in the heat.
This kind of heat. Yeah, they just are, you might have a lifetime battery of like maybe 3 years, and then it's like 2 years here in Houston because of this kind of heat. And the record in Houston, hobby, 2 ties, 1907 and 2011. Galveston, 84 degrees. College Station got close at 97 degrees, but their record from 1925, that's been around a long time, was safe. So here's your live Houston area Chevy dealers camera. You can see mainly clear skies, a little bit of a haze. 92 degrees right now, but look at the feels like number. It's not bad. It was more of a dry heat today, despite this south wind. It takes a while for the humidity to come in, but what we're going to see each and every day is the humidity is going to be climbing every day as we move throughout the rest of the week. So current temperatures are now in the lower 90s into the upper 80s. So we've reached our high. We're starting to lower a little bit now. College Station at 96 degrees. We have that southerly wind, which will bring in the humidity, just not yet. So when you look at the heat index, basically the same temperature by maybe a couple degrees here or there. The exception is Brenham, and because there's a little higher humidity off to the west, that's where we're seeing some heat advisories for tomorrow. And the issue is how long this is going to be for this pattern with this heat. 96 to 94 degrees all the way through the weekend. There's just not any kind of change. And the reason is, there's 2 reasons. So first of all, the reason it's so hot is this area of high pressure that's off in Mexico. That's an incredibly hot, high pressure, powerful. And what we're getting out of this is this upper level westerly, southwesterly wind. That's a really hot wind. And so what it does is it sinks some of that air and it brings that heat down to the surface. And while this high is pushing off to the east, it's not changing that wind pattern. So that's one thing. So you've got that ridge of high pressure in the upper levels. On the surface, you have what's called an omega blocking pattern. And so for those of you who are in fraternities, sororities, this is familiar to her. That's that omega that omega symbol. And you see that there. So we're scrunched in between 2 areas of low pressure. Here's the high pressure. This high is not able to move. It's stuck. And because it's stuck, we're going to see this kind of heat all the way through the 10-day forecast. We need something really major to move one of these lows, and that will actually help lower the temperature. But I don't have that all the way through the early part of next week. And the heart of the heat, where it's really focused, is right here on our state. And when you look at the heat risk, you have some extreme and some major heat issues for our state. For us in Houston, we're starting to get a little worse because the humidity is going to climb. But the actual temperature tomorrow, San Antonio 106, their all-time hottest May temperature ever recorded was 104. So they should break that tomorrow. You're seeing Del Rio now at 111 degrees. So we do have the heat advisories, the extreme heat warnings that are in place. And I was mentioning some of our western cities are now included in this. College Station, Navasota, Brenham, LaGrange, all the way out to Hallettsville. We're not there yet. I think we'll get there as we head toward the end of the week, but tomorrow is really just as hot as it was today, maybe a couple degrees hotter. Mid to upper 90s is now what you're starting to see. You still have 80s closer to the coastline and off to the east, but we're now starting in the mid 70s, 96 degrees for our high temperature, 80s for the early part of the day. Just brutal out there. And I think the worst of the heat is coming this weekend. And that's when you're starting to see this purple color area. That's the extreme heat risk, and it is moving into Houston, and it's just a few days away. So here's what it looks like on your extended 10-day forecast. Mid 90s through Friday of next week, and mornings in the mid to upper 70s.